Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be eating during this. We just got some food from the place and it is hot and ready.
Oh, nice.
I gotta tell you, I'm starting to hate the 2 p.m. Sunday service time. It's like right in the middle of the day.
Uh, are
Like,
we gonna need to change that?
I don't know. Every time it comes up now, I'm like, ugh. I'm like so bothered that I have because like I am in bed by 8. I'm
Mm-hmm.
home by 8. I'm home by 7 usually. So like my day is happening and then 2 o'clock happens and then I just have to stay in or I don't know, whatever thing. So it sucks, honestly. I hate it. I don't mind it in the winter for the
Mm-hmm.
summer because I'm not going anywhere in the winter, you know.
So do we need to change it back to the morning then?
Well, what do you think about that?
I mean, if you actively hate it, then I think that's something we should consider because like if it's like sometimes it's a slight inconvenience for me to get up on Sunday mornings, but I feel like a slight inconvenience is outweighed by vitriol. Like if you actively hate it and it disrupts your entire day,
Yeah.
then
I
I
think
feel
about
like
canceling every time.
if that's the case, then I feel like it's not working because the point of
Okay.
this is not to stress you out, it's to add structure, not disrupt structure.
Right. Maybe we would
So
just have summer and winter hours,
maybe,
you know?
yeah. So do we want to go back to our actually let me double check my calendar because um well, NFL season doesn't start until like September. Oh, I don't have these in my calendar yet. Well, I just know that it starts in September. So, that's not going to matter one way or the other. But yeah, I don't think I have anything scheduled on Sunday mornings that would conflict with it.
Okay. And
So,
also the Liberty games that I have all summer on Sundays are at 3 p.m.
oh yeah, then we definitely need to change it because
I would love that.
you would change it for me for football. So I feel like
Sure.
that's the final tipping point. We need to change it. So
Okay.
let's just go back to mornings for now.
Was it
And
9 your time and 10 my time or 8 your time and 9 my time? Or what do you
right,
want to do? What's the earliest you're willing
uh,
without it sucking for you?
let's go for 9 because I already clock in at 8 on the work days, so that'll give me some semblance of sleeping in.
Okay. Thank you.
Ooh, nice and steamy.
Food is here. Um,
So,
Perfect.
not next
So,
week because we have a bye week next week.
well, we can come next week now because I have a Liberty game that day, so that's the only reason.
Ah, okay. So, okay. Well, I don't have an immediate bye week needed then for this month, so we can just leave it. And if we end up needing it, like something comes up, then we'll just do that. But we'll
Okay.
cancel the bye week and then we'll just meet next morning, next Sunday morning.
Perfect. Let me add my
And
weeks in
we'll
here.
do 9 my time, 10 yours.
Beautiful.
And then I will change my
That's
alarm
so
before
helpful.
I forget. Of course, we want to make life easier, not harder.
Yeah, that's true. That is literally the whole thing.
Hmm.
So that, and I'm fairly certain I have sunstroke. I'm such a bitch today. It's
Oh
so
my
hot out.
gosh.
Thank you.
Do we still want to meet earlier, you and me, or do we want to just meet at time?
What do you think? What do you prefer? I'm open. I'll be way
Um,
up. I'll be up. So
mm,
I would default to whatever make is better for you.
why don't we try 15 early? We'll just split it
That's what I
down
was
the
thinking.
middle.
Okay.
That might have been what we were doing before, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think I always logged in and then just I would log in and then go do shit and then wait for you to come in.
Hmm.
So I can do that again.
Okay. So then I'll set my alarm to get up at the very latest 8:30, but I'll probably move.
Mm.
Actually, no, 15 minutes. No, I'm gonna do it at 8. That's fine. And then I'll just change it as needed and then change this to 8:45. Okay,
Oh my God. This is
this
so
is good.
good.
What are we eating today?
It's jerk chicken plate. So it's jerk
Ooh,
chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and potato salad.
my little Southern heart. I can't.
It's really
Ugh.
good.
The only thing that isn't from my childhood is the jerk seasoning because my grandmother is painfully white
Mm.
or was painfully white. But the rest of it, oh,
Yeah, this is a you meal. That's true.
yeah. Of course, I
Um,
guess technically the other stuff was not as good as like when my neighbors or my sister made it because we lived in a black neighborhood. And so it was
hmm
pretty good though. She still like cooked stuff in bacon grease, good old
hmm
Southern home cooking. But obviously whenever I went to my friend of 13 years, who's more like my sister, whenever I ate over there, it was always better.
Yeah, I had those friends too. Well, my mom was a good cook though. She seasoned her food. My mom and
Mm.
grandma were good cooks.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're good
We don't have the
cooks.
classic white nose seasoning. I do have an aunt though. Yeah, I do have, well, two aunts who don't season their food. Literally don't even salt the broccoli, which I like unsalted broccoli, but
My
it's
grandmother did
crazy.
season her food, but here's the thing, it was mostly salt. So I grew up with a lot of salt in my diet, and it
Mhm.
wasn't until, well, for one, when I started living with my sister, she her stepdad liked a lot of like spices, like seasonings, herbs, spices, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Whereas my grandmother was mostly salt and bacon grease, and so that was fine, but it's like a different palette. And now,
Yeah.
of course,
It's just two extreme like
yeah.
flavor things.
And now I don't even like need salt anymore. Like she would try to give us a balanced diet with like veggies and stuff,
Mhm.
but she would always salt like the cucumbers, and that's just what I grew up with. She would even salt her fruit, which is normal for a lot of people,
Mhm.
but she would like salt her cantaloupe. And that's just how I thought like growing up. It's just like the chili and rice thing. That's just how I thought it was. And now as an adult, I don't add extra salt to like almost anything because I can appreciate like for one, I'm hyper aware of like the dryness in my mouth and I want the
Mhm.
moisture. And like I love fresh cucumber without any salt because there's so much like crisp water in it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't need the salt on stuff because I just appreciate the natural flavor of veggies. And I try to when I do need seasoning on stuff, I try to season it with like herbs and things that don't involve salt. So it's kind of like I still do flavor and seasonings and stuff, but I try to minimize the actual salt, which is opposite from what I grew up with.
I do not minimize salt. I salt everything. Sometimes I oversalt it and whatever, I still fucking eat it. I don't care. Salt's really
Yeah.
good for you.
It's
So
not
like,
like I am afraid of it. It's just like change. Like I
well,
started in college not liking salt as much.
did you have like a lot of processed foods, like canned foods? Canned foods have like 700 grams of to like 1,000 grams of milligrams of sodium, which is not normal.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of salt on your French fries is normal. That's not a lot of salt. The salt that comes in a canned or prepared food is a ton of because it's used as a preservative
Hmm.
also, right? It makes sense that you're salted out.
Yeah.
My grandma would salt salty food too. She was a salty little bitch.
Which like it makes sense when you think about it from like a poverty standpoint, because for one, the salt masks like when stuff is not always the best quality, and it also sometimes helps with
Chemicals.
preserving when you're cooking. Like a lot of food could be stored in the fridge or the pantry for longer if it had a lot of salt in it.
Yep.
So like from a statistical or from like a practical standpoint, it makes sense that salt was a staple of her diet and became a staple of our diet as well.
Mhm.
But like, especially like you mentioned in today's day, like salt is already in everything processed, and processed is most of like is the easiest diet to have. And even when you're not trying to like have processed foods, like just going somewhere and eating, sometimes there's ingredients in there that also have the salt packed into it, just
Yeah.
as a matter of making it shelf stable before they add it to the food. So like it makes sense that salting your fries in itself is not really bad. But because of the fact that we already get so much else salt in our diet,
Hmm.
one little choice that we can make, that I can make at least, is not adding salt per se. I could put like garlic powder that's not actually like garlic
Garlic
salt,
salt.
which
Yeah.
I grew up with garlic salt. And
I did
now,
too, actually. I've never bought garlic salt. Well, maybe in my 20s once, but because
yeah,
I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And we
hmm
had garlic salt in the house.
yeah,
Not having control over your salt is so weird.
yeah,
Eh.
yeah. It's like I notice it so much more now. And it's like, oh, this is like really salty. And now
Mhm.
I'm even more thirsty. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't get enough water and I'm going to the bathroom all the time and it's just a pain in the butt. But it also takes away from the flavor itself now because I've gotten so good at appreciating the natural flavors of like
Hmm.
vegetables and stuff. So like steamed veggies, I don't salt that anymore. Um, and I forget like when my mother was up here and she used to cook for me, because that brings her joy.
Hmm.
And she loves cooking for people. And I would forget how salty my food was growing up until she cooked food for me. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so much salt. And then I
Hmm.
remember, I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it's always been. It's always been this. It's been salty and greasy. That is how I grew up eating. And
Well,
but it's because that's how the flavor, you save the grease and it adds flavor.
yeah.
And when you don't
It's
have,
technically healthier than buying oil.
mhm, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
That's
It's
just
free,
that's just how, so
kind
like
of.
there's so much stuff like growing up that I just didn't even realize. And when I think back to it, I remember like my brother-in-law at one point making a comment when I was a kid that like that was too much salt on my food. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Don't
You're
be
like,
so, yeah, don't be weird. Like I don't know what he's talking about. He's being too
right.
whatever. And now looking back, I'm like, no, he's totally right. There's way too much salt on that food that I
Mhm.
ate. I'm lucky that like it didn't affect me negatively health-wise.
Well, our
Um,
bodies definitely adapt and they recover really, really well.
yeah,
I feel like we're not made to believe that, but they really do. You can stop
yeah.
doing anything with your diet and your body will just recover and act normal.
hmm Yeah, my mother, I think for a while, my mother was terrified when I was younger of like me, like for example, having her childhood, like people used to call her Fatty Patty because her name is Patricia, which is why she legally changed her name to Trish
Wow.
early on. Like as
Poor
soon as she
Patty
could, like
Patty. Aw.
her driver's license literally says Trish, and
Wow.
has for my entire life. But she was terrified of her kids being overweight because she didn't want them to be bullied as ruthlessly as she was.
Right.
And so, even though there was a lot of salt in our diet and lots of grease and fatty things in our diet, there were also other active choices. Like we didn't like chocolate milk was a delicacy.
Mm.
Dark soda was a delicacy. I could not have like the kids that just had soda with every meal. I had milk, and if I had Sprite, it was like a bottle of Sprite. Like when we went to the
Like a two
pharmacy,
liter.
no, like a
Oh,
little
like a
16 ounce,
little.
yeah, a little thing of Sprite that was like a treat when we went to the pharmacy. It wasn't
So,
like drink it all the time.
yeah.
And we went to
We weren't soda
McDonald's, it
house
was
either.
icy. Yeah,
We
which
were
is funny because
milk.
my mother is like addicted to Coca-Cola. So it's kind of funny now, but
I
thinking
did
of back,
become addicted to Pepsi in my 20s. I had a job where we had a soda machine and I was like hitting 1 to 2 per day. I had a friend call
yes.
me out and she was like, bro, you're doing 2 per day now. And I was like, fuck, I had to figure it out.
Yeah, it was the same thing for me when I worked at McDonald's. I was getting like, because you get like a free little cup of soda whenever you want. And so I was getting that free little cup of soda all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I think I just burnt myself out on it. And now it's like I can't drink a whole thing of soda. I I will, when my partner gets a soda, I'll take sips. And it's like that's fine, but like my teeth start hurting after a while. And it fills me up so much. And I'm like, this is dumb. I just want to drink water.
I can't
So
have soda anymore either. And I've had like a Pepsi or two in the last like few years.
hmm
Was this one over here?
yeah.
But like
It just feels different in in
hard.
the belly now. Like it feels,
It feels like drugs when I drink it because it's
yeah.
so delicious.
Oh yeah.
Oh
For
man.
me, it's a combination of like my teeth, and then it feels like it's taking up space in my stomach that is not going to keep me full very long. I think that now that I'm thinking of it, I lived on when I was in college. I worked at our campus exchange or CX, and I would get one cup because you get free refills on a cup. So I would buy one cup, one of those paper cup things, and I would fill it up with soda and pay for it once, and then I would continuously refill it. Like I would keep that soda for that cup for days and take it back with me to work and then fill it up more. And when I think about it, I was purposefully filling my stomach up with something that didn't really have a lot of nutritional value just to keep me going. I also ate a lot of Snickers bars because they were cheaper than like granola bars and stuff. They were $1. So like
Crazy.
now that I'm thinking back to it, I wonder if that's why I don't like drinking large amounts of soda because it's like if I really have room in my stomach, I could put something better in there and
Well,
I
sugar
don't.
does take up a lot, and also our bodies don't process sugar. Our bodies, I
Hmm.
learned this when like maybe a decade ago when I changed my diet. I've never sounded off to you about the sugar thing.
No, you have, I think. I'm pretty sure
So
you
like
have.
I only asked because I was pretty adamant about telling people
Hmm.
this. But anyway, so like your body doesn't know how to process sugar, so your brain turns it into chemical so that your body can process it, and then your brain gets addicted to that chemical that it creates.
Hmm.
So also that same thing happens when you eat bread, which is carbs, which turns into sugar.
That part I
So
didn't know.
right, bread also counts as sugar, unfortunately. Crackers, anything like that.
I'm
Like
eating peanut butter crackers right now.
I had a pack of cheese crackers recently because I was like, oh, I have to get off sugar because it is
Yeah.
ruining my life right now. And so I'm
Mm,
doing savory snacks. And the first thing that I got was this pack of cheddar crackers because it reminded me of, I don't know, just when I used to eat them all the time when I had a job with
yeah.
a vending machine.
Yeah.
Tasty. They're so the cheddar, the cheese ones.
That's where I'm at with peanut butter crackers, which is funny because I did not like them growing up at all. I thought
Mm.
they like dried my mouth out. Like I wasn't really a peanut butter person unless it was a PB&J with more J or a Reese's cup. And which my grandmother used to make us when we were sick and we couldn't eat anything. She would make us have like a big heaping spoonful of peanut butter for like the protein. Like if you can't eat
Mhm.
anything else, just eat this. I hated that. Um, but
Mm.
like now, the peanut butter crackers are like my lifeline. They're so much tastier now than when I was a kid. And I always have to have like how I was with Uncrustables, which I still keep some of those in on hand, but I
Mhm.
don't eat them as constantly as I used to. But now it's like my thing to have on hand is peanut butter crackers, which I don't eat them as a meal, which I can't say for the Uncrustables. I would sometimes eat those as a meal, but now it's like my
That's
snack
technically a meal.
having those. Yeah, I mean it is a
PB&J is a
meal.
meal.
I don't know. I
An
didn't,
Uncrustable, though, I will argue. I mean, I gave you a hard time about Uncrustables because it's really not a meal, but I get how it is a meal for a you.
yeah. And
And
it's
also, if that's the only thing
also
you can eat at that time, because that's what, then yes, it's absolutely meals.
that was pretty much my autism chow for a while was Uncrustables.
Mm.
And so it was like I know that I need to eat, but I don't have it in me to prepare anything. So
And maybe you
Uncrustables.
don't crave anything.
Yeah, literally there were times, and there still are times where it's like my body needs fuel. I don't feel like eating, but I know that I need food in my belly because my body is telling me that. So, whatever I have. And that's also why, like, sometimes I tap into a side of my brain where I'm not very picky at all. And sometimes I recognize like I need to eat and I don't mind eating the same thing over and over and over again, which drives my mother crazy. She'll be like, "What are you eating today? Don't say this thing." And I'm like,
That
okay,
thing.
I'm not gonna say anything then. And she's like, good grief. But like it annoys her when I eat the same thing over and over again. But she also has a hard time wrapping her head around differences between people. So something that, would annoy her, she assumes is, anyone that says that it's not bothering them is lying.
I
Or
used to have that too. I still do, kind of. Like, how can you even? Like, what?
yeah.
How do you have this experience and you don't hate it?
Yeah, especially with like holidays and stuff. Like holidays are very, very important to her, and she can't wrap her head around how anyone could just have a holiday be like a normal day and not make them severely depressed
Mm-hmm.
because it would make her severely depressed. And
Mm-hmm.
so she, even if you try to tell her, you're like, no, genuinely, I forgot it was a holiday and I woke up and I did my thing and I'm fine. Like
Mm-hmm.
we do enough like we do little things throughout the year so that if we forget a holiday or whatever, it's not that big of a deal for us because we just, we enjoy our days together.
We have a holiday when we
And
need a holiday.
right, and she just doesn't understand that. She thinks that we are, she thinks like I'm coping. She thinks that it's not real or whatever. And
Huh.
it's like I don't know what to tell you because she has a hard time with that. There's actually a character in a Jane Austen book that I read recently that is similar, where the father character cannot wrap his head around. It might have been Emma, but literally can't wrap his head around anyone having any different feelings than
Mhm.
himself. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Not as extreme as the character in the book, but similar in a
Yeah.
way. She's trying to be better, and I'm trying to call her on it more too, and she's trying to be better. But and I actually did a U where I started doing a U where you uh I can't remember what the origin of this is, but my mother will say things like she will attribute a judgment that she would have into someone else. She would assume that they are thinking something about
Mm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And because she grew up in a very judgmental environment, like my grandmother, bless her, she was, she grew up in a very judgmental society and carried those over so that her family wouldn't be judged. And
Which your
engraved
mom
that
carried
stuff.
over to you, which is why you,
Yeah.
I can't remember what you said earlier, but something,
Yeah.
oh, so that
What,
you weren't made fun of for being fat or whatever.
yeah. And so it's like, which I never really had that same fear. It was just her being afraid of having the fat kid
Mhm.
that got made fun
Right.
of. But I was never, I didn't really internalize the fear of fatness the same way, luckily.
But because
But
she doesn't know that people feel differently, she would never have known that.
exactly. And yeah, and it's regular, like body size is very much a part of her like constant thing. So like
Mhm.
she's not the type of mom that says, "Are you eating enough? You're losing weight." She's not going to do that. My sister's more likely to do that, and she's for the most part, she's going to be like, "You're such a little skinny mini" or whatever. And
Mhm.
I'm like, "Thank God I don't have an eating disorder because this would not be a
That's
safe
true.
environment for me."
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
the closest I come to having an eating disorder is just not eating because I'm
Not
not
being able
eating
to eat. Yeah.
right, not because like I want to lose weight, but it's just like sometimes it's a task to
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's that. I don't remember how I got off on that topic, but
I don't remember either. That was quite a side quest that we did it.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was a big side quest. But I've been connecting more with my grandmother or the good parts of my grandmother
Mm.
lately. Which she passed away when I was a kid, and I have memories of when she was younger. But she had a broader impact on the family, like past her death. And she also, so most of what I have of her are some faint memories because in the later parts of her years, she wasn't the same person.
Mm.
She had Alzheimer's and she wasn't all there, but and my mother was her full-time caretaker at some point. Like she thought that my mother was her mother toward the end of her life.
Mhm.
Um, and so, but I have vague memories of how she was, but most of it supplemented by what I've heard from other people in the family. So I've been trying to connect lately with how she was before, she started slipping. And uh, I know that she was thrifty. I know that she was creative, both in an artistic way, but also in a survival way.
Mm.
And she was the origin of the chili in our family, the chili rice, which is now how we all eat chili. And it's because that's how she
Made
like
it.
had, yeah, that's how she made it for the purpose of stretching it out. And that's just how we always do it now. I passed it on to my partner who now also doesn't have chili without rice. And
Incredible.
so it's like
A
there's so many
legacy.
things, yeah, there's so many things that I can trace back to her. And so whenever I'm being like creative with making stuff work around the house instead of just going out and buying something else or whatever.
Mhm.
I feel more connected to her. Or when I'm figuring something out the messy way, I feel more connected to her. Um, and it's really, really cool to
That's
do
so
that.
beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I try not to focus on the other parts about her, like the fact that she was kind of a quiet racist,
Mhm.
or very judgmental, but she also was very strong. Like she was in a very toxic relationship, and she went through a lot of adversity, but she always made sure that her family had what it needed, and she made sure to instill um good values to a degree in to the best of her ability, even though the family was so dysfunctional. She did her best, and she even tried to be more accepting in some situations than she might have been earlier in her life. Like she tried. Um, she did struggle with hoarding, and I do find myself
But
in a
she like
similar.
wanted to be, what I'm hearing is like she wanted to be a good person in that way and learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
And that process, well, that process is hard for anyone, especially anyone who's getting older, I think. It can be hard to believe what the hell's going on in the world, let alone that we're talking differently.
And people respected her, with the exception of my grandfather. I think pretty much everybody that knew her respected her a lot.
Mhm.
So they didn't like it wasn't like a fear matriarch situation. It was just like a respected matriarch situation.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it wasn't like she bossed people around either. They just deferred to her, and it's really, really cool. And
Well,
so
she
I'm
has a
trying to,
survival thing, the survival
Mhm.
creativity that a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. And so I try to keep that in my heart lately and channel her more because
Aw.
we just spent like almost $600 at the vet yesterday.
Oh my.
So we are gonna be in super duper thrift mode
Hmm.
for a bit. And so I'm really trying to channel her in the toughest of times and try to remember not to waste. Because, like, she always said that if we waste food, we're going to end up hungry. Like, it was one of those things where if you throw this out, it's not just like you're going to wish you had this food when you're hungry. It's like, no. Um, like superstitiously, throwing out this food will make you go hungry down the road. And it's not like I actually believe like metaphysically that's going to happen, but it's still where I don't like to waste food, but I've noticed that I still have over the years gotten more and more lax about it. And now that I need to be more proactive about saving money now than before, I'm starting to notice even more like, how can I reuse this? How can I save this?
I don't like wasting food either. I grew up in poverty also, so sometimes we didn't have
Hmm.
food. But that I've noted at times I feel the stressful energy of wasting food, and I'm like, okay, this is not one of those times. And
Hmm.
I'm not like a chronic food waster. It's okay if you just like can't eat that. Or if,
Hmm.
you throw over the weight, those leftovers went bad or whatever, like I don't have to stress. I know that I'm mindful.
Hmm.
Um, she sounds a lot like me, honestly.
Yeah. Aside from the fact that you're a butch lesbian, but
I'm
I,
not a butch lesbian.
well,
I'm
I mean,
bisexual, okay?
in her eyes, you would be a butch lesbian.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's
saying. Like,
true.
that's the
Any
only reason I was gonna say she'd probably like you, except for that fact, is what
Yeah,
I was saying. I didn't
right.
mean like you guys aren't alike because you're this. I'm like, she would get along with you, except she would see you as this.
Yeah.
Um, which is funny because we did have two actual butch lesbians live next door to us for a while. I used to go
Mm,
over to their carport and play with this little toy toolkit while they were building shit in a garage.
that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, and they had a little PT Cruiser. They were living the stereotype dream, man. Um,
Wow. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know how she felt about them. I know my mother liked them. She's always been pretty accepting.
Mm.
Um, anyway, so we have just spent like 33 minutes on shooting the shit, which is
That's what you
fine.
usually do, so that
Yeah.
worked.
So let us pivot. And we are a neurodivergent planning meeting. We focus on adding structure and planning out our week so that it feels a little bit less overwhelming. And we also want to Um, Keep in mind things like accountability and showing up for yourself, which can mean defining what on time means for that day. Sometimes it's not what's on the clock. Sometimes it's what we are able to accomplish. In this case, our on time was a little bit later than what we normally do, but it's still roughly on time for the stream. We just normally meet earlier than we did. We want to focus on self-care and having grace for ourselves. We want to make realistic plans and delegate when it's needed, and build joy and rest into our days. So some tips for successful planning meeting. We want to honor the moment and set the tone. This is all about ritual, which is why we were talking about changing the time because we want to make sure it's feasible and it's helping us and not more stressful. And we want to curate our vibe with lighting, music, comfy clothes, whatever, food, which goes into our basics. We want to handle like snacks, stretching, hydration. We want to grab tools we need, like pens and notebooks, our laptop or phone, calendar, things that help us focus. And we want to use our resources, which could be like we have a template on Notion that you can duplicate, and we also have visuals for the timers, which I will share. And we do this in 4 parts. So we do our brain dump. We take about 20 minutes for that, and we move on to reflective questions about the week. We take about 10 minutes. We move on to our top 20 priorities for the week, and then we add things to our calendar for about 10 minutes. So let me share my screen. Mm, Share. Mm, Windows. There we go. And so we will start with our brain dump, which will take 20 minutes for. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just whatever's taking up space in your brain. Put it out on a paper or the laptop or whatever. It can be a block of text, it could be a list, um, anything that's taking up space. And we'll add more structure to it later. This is just to get it out of the way. So 20 minutes for that, and then we'll come back to reflect on the past week.
Thank you.
Hello. We're done. How do we do?
Pretty good. I spent a lot of time like asking myself questions. Like, um, can I stop eating all sugar for at least a week? Just asking
Oh.
myself questions so that I know where I'm at with things. Or
Mhm.
like, can I commit to going downstairs to the gym 3 times a week?
I
How much
like
time, how much time
this.
do I need in the morning? So just asking myself questions so I can figure out what my priorities are and what I like and dislike. I'm realizing that I really don't know what I want
Hmm.
in my time. There's a gap of time that I have usually, if I'm up early enough. I'm pretty early usually, but where Laura's still sleeping, so I have that time. So I'm like, what do I want to do with that time? Like, what's the most important thing to do during that time when I have that privacy?
Do you still have a copy of the challenges template? Let's
A
see.
challenges template.
What's it actually called? Hold on a minute. Let me open mine. Hold on, I'm frozen. Give me a second. Or rather, my Chrome is frozen. Um, Come on. You can do it. There you are. So it is current challenges. And if you are on the facilitation document, you made a version as well. I think it's at the bottom of the facilitation document. Personal example of 5-day challenge, template at the bottom of the page.
1 second. Where are you? I haven't looked at this in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's at the bottom, you said?
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to do it, break it down by time if you don't
Oh,
want
right.
to. That's
Right.
just
There's
something
part
that
about it.
I
Okay, okay.
like. Yeah, and so you can duplicate that and then customize it if you want. Um,
5 day challenge. Got it. Okay, found
mhm.
it. Yes, I can put that back into my life. Perfect.
Yeah, because it sounds like that's what we're needing if
Hmm.
we're already kind of like trying to figure out what we like, what's feasible, and then you can just like change it up every week until we find something that works.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, in the realm of reflections, let us move on to our reflective questions. So, this is where we ask ourselves questions about the previous week. Things like, how was my week and all my roles and goals and why? What worked? What can I do differently? What needs following up on? And it can be broken down as individual questions, or you can do it as one prompt that feeds into itself. Um, but the main purpose of it is just a memory exercise and trying to make sure that we have everything uh, in order and following up on if we need to so that stuff doesn't get swept under. And sometimes we find that we've done better than we thought. So I did not realize this was unpaused. But we'll take 10 minutes for that and then we will come back and we'll move to top 20.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, that's time. How do we do?
Pretty good. Um, I almost skipped over the reflection questions again. I was like, don't. So I think it was a good week. And I was just thinking about I think one reason why I skipped the reflective questions is because I don't have my whole top 20 checked off,
Hmm.
and I don't want to reflect on how I didn't do well. But when I was like, I did this, I did this, I did this, it made me understand that um I did do a lot. I did what I had time for.
Exactly. And that's like the main purpose of it too, is like that's why we emphasize it's not for shaming yourselves. We want to be kind. That's why we call them victories and almost, is because even though we didn't quite get to these other things, we usually did other stuff that we're not accounting for.
Hmm.
That's why it's a memory exercise.
I think I judge myself for not writing the things down and putting it as a part of my list. And I don't know why I do that. Or like if I think about it, I'm like, why can't I just put it on the list now? It's too many steps. You know what I mean? I gotta pick up the
Hmm.
phone first of all,
Yeah.
and that's too much sometimes. I don't want to pick up my phone.
Yeah, I understand that. So, but it is important to take a moment and just reflect on stuff. And also knowing sometimes that I'm going to be reflecting on it the next week. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it makes me a bit more mindful, or I'll have these moments where, because the practice is sort of in there, where I'll think about, oh man, I actually did a lot yesterday, or, this past week I've been doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it'll not happen until Sunday, and sometimes it'll just creep up in my brain. Like I had that thought yesterday. I'm like, I've been cooking a lot, and I was feeling really bad about myself before, but I've done a lot of like housework, and even though the house isn't in tip-top shape, like it's is actually a lot better. So
I'm going
yeah,
through the
it's
same thing. I'm like, it's fine. Everything looks fine. You
hmm
didn't do everything you always do, but everything's fine.
yeah. And that's usually a very important step. So I'm glad you didn't skip it because it's not about shaming yourself. It's about the memory exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realized I've been skipping it for a while.
Mm.
Like when we talked about it before, I had been skipping it and just doing other things because I haven't wanted to get on my computer. So I'm like also using this time to be like, okay, I don't want to reflect. Let me just do these things that I got to do while I'm thinking about it because I don't think I'm doing anything.
Right. Right. Well, now we know we got to stand firm on that going forward.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's do our top 20. We're going to be pulling out up to, doesn't have to be exactly, but we don't want it to be more, 20 things, priorities, tasks, projects, whatever that we want to focus on for the upcoming week. So we'll pull these both from our brain dump and our reflective questions if stuff popped into our head while we were doing that. And you might even come up with other things that you didn't consider before. But the purpose of this is to prioritize it and realize that we don't have to do everything in the world, but we can get out, practice getting the most important things. So we'll take 15 minutes for that, and then we will come back and do our calendar step.
Thank you.
All right, that's time. How we feel?
Pretty good. I did my top 20 when I was brain dumping, and I was still adding to it while I was doing what I was doing, but mostly I was filling in the daily challenge thing
Ooh,
or the 5-day challenge, and I'm only doing morning and bedtime.
okay.
I want to get my morning and bedtime situation under control so that I can just like I think I'm wasting a lot of energy just wandering around being like, what should I do now? And then a time will go by and I'm like, fuck, I didn't do the morning thing that I did the last 5 times because I
Mm-hmm.
just, I need to get more disciplined just around timing. That way I
Mm-hmm.
can set it and forget it and like not waste so much energy.
Yeah, makes sense. So then, since we are still meeting next week, we can hear how the challenge went.
That is a good incentive. Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think of another brain dump question. And it was, what would it take to get in Notion every single day and check in?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And you have the Notion app on your phone, right?
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have pretty strict, well, I think they're pretty strict phone boundaries. So, like, if there's certain apps I'm not allowed to use, right? Texting is one. I'm not allowed to email. I'm not allowed to like social media, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I can play Words with Friends and I can play other games, but I can't do that other kind of engaging stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Um,
use the Notion app on my phone for like creating stuff. I only use the Notion app on my phone for like checklists and quick references or quick notes on something I'm reading, for something that I already created the base for on the computer. And that's
yeah.
mostly because don't I don't like doing I need the functionality of a full PC spread. Um, but also it keeps me from spending too much time um fiddling with all the formatting while on my phone screen.
Mhm. Well, I do that too. I even have a shortcutted so that I can go because I do use it as my notes app,
Hmm.
but I haven't been connecting it with the idea of using it to do the 5-day challenge. That hasn't been installed yet.
Mm.
So, and all of that other phone boundary thing to say that I if I catch myself picking up and the hours are like between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m.
Hmm.
And I usually get up at like 6 or so. And so
Hmm.
there's a couple hours there where I can't really do much on my phone, but I can absolutely use Notion. But I think that my mind goes to put it down, you're not doing anything because I'm in habit of
Yeah.
picking it up and getting distracted.
Yeah.
So that'll give me a good excuse to use my phone.
Yeah. I also do you have the same phone as me now? Do you have the Note?
No, I still have the Galaxy 5,
Oh, I must be thinking
Galaxy
of someone
20s
else.
5G plus S something, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there might still, do you like use the mode function, like routines and modes?
I have tried. Honestly, I love that Android is so what's the word? Like customizable.
Hmm.
But it's almost overwhelming for me now. And because like there's like do not disturb, there's modes. And at one point I had like 3 different things going and there shouldn't be that many fucking options.
Yeah,
Hard.
I get it. I set mine up like forever ago. And so I don't have to like worry about it now. And if I do need to make changes, I just like tweak it. But I don't know if I were starting from scratch. I don't know if I would have it in me to set all that up now. I'm just lucky because I did it in when I had the brain space to do it.
Mhm.
But it is helpful. I have a bedtime mode
I do have a
and
sleep when I was using it, I have a sleep mode. I really loved it. I
yeah,
really love that.
yeah, and I have a work mode as well.
Oh, I actually use that app I use, Minimalist Phone.
Mhm.
I use their version. It's like in their app. It's called blocking schedules. So
Mm.
like and that's so like I can choose the apps that are under the blocking schedule.
Hmm.
And the main thing is I wanted to be able to like get up and play a game if I can't sleep or something like that, or I don't know.
Mm. Hmm. That's tricky. I can't let myself do that. because I won't be able to fall back asleep. I think at most, if I were personally to wake up and not be able to fall back asleep and not force myself to lay in bed, um, I probably would read. But I know my brain, if I were to have like a game or something stimulating like that, it would be almost impossible to calm
Yeah.
back down.
Yeah, it tires out my eyes and also just like I'm a person that will get restless leg syndrome sometimes. So like my physical body needs to do something. So doing this
Hmm.
and then it tiring out my eyes. Yeah, it's like and reading can help sometimes, but then I sometimes get stressed about the reading. So it
Mm,
sometimes works. I have a night lamp and everything. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends.
yeah.
If I'm so tired, I'll feel I have a guilt, I think I just realized about reading something and not um remembering it.
Mm, hmm. That makes sense.
I
That's
used to have it in school too. I would read a whole book and be like, I don't know what this is about.
ah, you just kind of
Yeah.
go into like autopilot mode.
Well, I reading comprehension for me is difficult. I'm dyslexic, so I learn information
Hmm.
differently. People can just like read a thing, but I have to turn it into pictures.
Right.
So if I can turn the reading into picture, and that is energy, right? So I'm reading in a
Yeah.
different language and I'm translating it real time. So if it's not easy, and so that makes it so that I only want to read things that I'm excited to read.
Hmm.
Reading to go to sleep, I I don't know, for some reason it doesn't um sound appealing.
It makes sense. I mean, the way that your relationship to reading is, it makes more sense that your brain needs to be more alert. So it's not a relaxing, calm down, soothing activity for you. It's more of it's more of like an exercise. It's more of like,
Sure. I associate it with learning too. Like if I
mm,
had to read, it was because I had to learn something
mhm, yeah.
or
So
because it was an assignment or something. Yeah.
that also makes sense. And so it's interesting we have completely different things like that light up our brain to use more energy
Mhm.
in the middle of the night because the thing that would calm me down is the very thing that would stimulate you too much and vice versa. It's very interesting.
Or like I will put on the TV and cover my eyes so I can only hear it. So
Hmm.
only like really one of my senses is focusing. And is busy doing that thing and then that gets tired.
Hmm.
Or I will actually like watch TV for a bit and then, fall asleep from it. Because and like if you think about it, like me watching something is easier to do than reading
Yeah,
something
because it's
because it's already
pictures.
in pictures, right?
Hmm. That makes perfect sense.
So I can get and sometimes I'll have to turn the TV back on and I'm asleep in 1 minute 30 seconds.
Hmm.
So it works really well. I wish there wasn't like a stigma about going to bed with this TV on,
I grew up not being able
but
to go to
not
sleep
reading a
without it.
book if you wake up.
Yeah, like I don't personally think like I don't know of the stigma, but I 100% believe that it is. But I also grew up like as a kid, my mother always, she still to this day can't go to sleep without a TV or something on. And so I grew up with that because we shared a bedroom for most of my life. And so I also couldn't go to sleep without like noise and light. And it wasn't until recent years that I've even been able to like change like morph my brain into a situation where I'm not as dependent on that. But
Mhm.
that's relatively new. So I absolutely understand and
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like, it's not necessarily because of the reading thing where my brain's not quite like that, where it works harder. I do find reading a really relaxing activity. Sometimes it puts me to sleep and then I wake up, I'm like, man, where did I leave
Oh,
off?
that's wild. I didn't know
But
people thought it was a relaxing activity. It
it
is a
depends. I
stressful
think it
activity for
depends
me.
on what you're reading too. Because like there's some stuff that can be really stressful, but I don't usually like go to sleep with or like lay down and relax reading like high fantasy stuff, or the really like super action packed whatever. A lot of the books that I like to read are like historical fiction and things that are, they have their own tension, but it's not through like super dense action stuff. And so it is more soothing to me, even when I'm like on the edge of my seat from like what's going to happen next. It's
Mm.
not from like what, it's not going to be intense stuff that will either keep my brain awake or give me dreams, which is another thing.
Yeah. Oh,
We
right.
used to have the TV on for nightmare purposes. Like, because if it was silent, my brain would like fill in the blanks and not focus on something that could cause me to have better dreams, which is why I used to sleep with the Little Mermaid on a loop.
Hmm.
And then it got to the point where like there were other things that I could sleep with, but I had to put something on. Otherwise, if there's silence, my brain is like, all right, we got a blank canvas. Let's see what we can do here.
Right. Yes, I know.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
now it's to the point where it's not so much like that, but I do still like certain things like impacting my dreams. There are some things that I do enjoy when it slips into my dreams. It's a comfort.
Hmm.
Um, but I also sometimes my brain will be in a certain spot where I surprisingly need it to be less stimulating. I still need some kind of noise, but there's some things that I would previously fall asleep to and enjoy, and nowadays it's like my brain will latch onto it and try to listen to it and stay awake for it, and or it'll feel itself getting overstimulated, like this feels like awake time. And so it's very interesting the way that that changes over time with like our experiences and what's available to us. And also like darkness. I sleep in darkness better now. Like light seems to bother me more when I'm sleeping, whereas I used to not be able to sleep in the dark. Not, I wasn't afraid of the darkness. It just was so different from what we're used to.
Right.
We're going to sleep with the
You didn't have
TV.
any habits around sleeping in the dark.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's very interesting how that changes over time. But it 100 makes sense. It definitely makes sense that the TV is more relaxing for you. It doesn't overstimulate you to the point where it takes you longer to fall asleep. And it also is helpful when you wake up in the middle of the night. I'm glad that you have like sort of a system in place for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do a lot for sleep.
I also do
Um,
grayscale on my bedtime mode on
I
my
have a night
phone.
mode too. Yeah. So I did because my eyes are literally so tired of seeing and they're very sensitive to light.
Hmm.
So that, and there's a volume level that's right, you know.
Oh, I don't have that. I didn't
Well,
think
no,
of that.
I just turn it down to a
Oh, you
level
just
where,
manually do it.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And then if I do Netflix, I usually just put on Seinfeld and it goes automatically turns off in 3 episodes. So I know that's like
Mm.
that's an hour.
Hmm. Very nice.
And it gives me an idea of, because if I wake up in the night and it's not on, I know that I've been asleep. Because sometimes I can get anxious about waking up too much at night, or if it is on, I'm like, what the hell?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have a lot of things for sleeping.
That has a lot of weight to carry
Yeah.
when it's supposed
I
to
just got a
be.
couple more things. I just got this lavender balm. I got a new tea. I make a cold hot brew other tea that I add this new tea to. I take ashwagandha. I fucking so part of my night routine that I used to do a lot is I would like I usually like start a ritual by lighting incense because it gets me to go do all the rest of the things. So if I'm
Hmm.
smelling the thing, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I used to do that and then, close down the house, make like put all the dishes in the dishwasher or wash the dishes or whatever, just clean the counter off
Hmm.
and just like make sure that I know that when I come there in the morning, I'm not gonna be fucking so annoyed at myself. And then I would turn the TV on and then do a self massage and then tuck myself in and that's it, lights out.
Bedtime routine is so crucial, man.
Yeah.
It is so important. It
Hmm.
actually reminds me, I need to add something to my list real quick because our bedroom is starting to smell. We need a vacuum in there because the dogs have rolled around on it
What
so
happened at
much.
the vet?
Oh, we had a lot of shots to get, like a lot of shots to get them all at once, and then also oral flea medication because the fleas are much worse this season than they've been in the past.
Mm.
So we had to do like fancy collars and the liquid stuff and flea bats, regular frequent flea bats, which both of us have physical issues that makes that even worse.
Yeah.
And it's still a problem. So we were like, we
Um,
gotta do something about this. And so we took all three dogs to the vet at once. Um,
that's wild.
it was an experience, yes.
Yeah.
And but we got them medication that will hopefully help. It's going to take a bit for it to like get in their system. And then they're coming to me. I'm getting a lot of them, but hopefully that won't be forever.
Yeah.
And then they got a lot of shots. So we actually found an inexpensive border that we're going to try out. And we wanted to make sure we got them all up to date on everything because we're going to do like a test run while we're still in town and just have
Mhm.
them stay there for one day. That way, goodness forbid, if it's not working, we can go pick them up. And then if we know that they're okay with it and they also will have had experience there, then when we go to like the concert or like the Ozarks,
Mhm.
we know we can take them there. So we wanted to make sure they were all caught up on their shots and everything.
Smart.
Yeah. And now they're good. So um as long as we can stay in thrift mode long enough to like stay okay, um, and I did some of that too during the brain dump, is organizing some bills and stuff to see like what can wait, what can be split.
Hmm.
And I have birthday gift cards too that I've been stashing away. And I am going to use those when we go to the store because I'm sure that I previously bought stuff without using the gift card because I forgot I had it. And
Hmm.
so in my mind, yes, you're not supposed to use a gift cards for stuff, but like it evens out. So I think
What do
it's
you mean you're
fine.
not supposed to use gift cards for stuff?
I mean, for like boring stuff. And this isn't just a
I do
general
not
rule.
have
This
that
is,
rule. I do not have that rule.
it's
Money
not
is
my
money.
rule. It's the people that give me gift cards make
Oh,
that
they're like,
requirement.
use it for this thing.
Yes,
They're
they're
just
like,
kidding. Oh.
if you can avoid it, please do not spend this on this, that, or the other. But in my brain, I justify it this time as like, well, I bought these frivolous things with my money, so
Right. Yeah.
it evens out. It's fine.
Yeah. You
I
understand the intention of the card, but
right.
like, yeah,
I
I
got
do a
something
similar
fun.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also, the only thing is I have one gift card that's only online. And so I'm gonna have to find something else to do that with. But either way, because this is all like from my birthday, right? So
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get those, and those kind of saved my butt because I was able to use one of those gift cards at the vet to knock off um some of the money, which was
Oh,
really, really
beautiful.
helpful. And then we also have a care credit card, which
Mhm.
I was trying to pay down, but we end up just like popping that guy
Put
off
it
again.
on.
Just
Yep.
because I mean we had
That's what
to
they're there
anyway.
for. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like we're going to be able to afford to get a truck right now anytime soon anyway. So I'm
Mhm.
not as messed up about our credit. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. And
But
also, it doesn't worsen your credit to have, I mean, yes, like part of it is the percentage of available credit, but what is it going to affect it the most is late payments.
mhm,
And like, it doesn't matter if you're doing minimum payment as long as it's on time, it's not going to do anything to your credit.
mhm. Yeah, it's my biggest problem with my credit right now is Synchrony Bank is the devil.
I
But
know, dude. I've
I
had
didn't
issues with them.
That's a whole other thing to gripe about some other day.
Yep.
But anyway, so let's do our last
Oh, yeah.
section.
We have 10 minutes left and we're just dragging it out.
Yep, sorry. Not really sorry though, because
That's all right.
we,
Also, yeah.
yeah. So our last 10 minutes we use for adding things to the calendar. We want to consider things like what the weather's going to be like, how that might affect our plans, and domestics like chores and cooking and meal prep and stuff like that. So we will take 10 minutes for that, and then we'll come up and finally wrap up for the week.
Thank you.
Mhm. I was just wondering why it was saying at 1 minute for so long and then realized that I had paused it at some point. So,
Oh, that's funny. I just looked at it a second ago because I was like, oh, I should see how much time we have. And I was like, okay, 1 minute. And then I started keeping track, and it's funny that you said
yeah, I was like, man, it's been 1 minute for a long time, but no. And then like it's paused. Well, that is, we're gonna
that.
call that time. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been way more than 10 minutes, I'm sure.
That's perfect for me.
Perfect. Love that. Oh, and it just tinged. Okay.
How's your day? How's your week looking?
It's looking pretty okay. I also went back to the 5-day challenge sheet and tweaked it, and we're gonna see how that goes because the past couple of weeks I haven't had it in me to go through the challenge, and it's been an active challenge, like not in a fun way. But I feel different because of the fact that I was thinking about how good I've been doing lately. And I'm putting myself in the brain of a World War II, like rationing British housewife. I know that's super random, but it is like one of my most recent hyperfixations was just like World War II. And I think that combined with the fact that I've been struggling just to do everyday things and just like feeling more connected to my grandmother and difficult times and adversity and stuff like that. I am trying to reconnect with that. So my overall goal for this next week is World War II rationing housewife, and I'm gonna make the most of what I have. And
My God, dude, maybe this book is for you. Hold on a second.
oh, I love a book rash or a book recommendation.
A stranger that me and Laura met was like, I'm going to my friend's book signing. He made a cookbook.
Oh,
And I was planning on going to this bookstore anyway. Me and Laura were out, and there was a bookstore around the corner we'd like to stop into. And I was
mm-hmm.
like, well, what's a cookbook? And he's like, it's called Retro Recipes. He takes recipes from like the 1900s and maybe even earlier, 1920s, 1950s. And like back in those times, processed foods were like coming through, and then there was a lot of weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
They had
like
an obsession with Jello,
they did
making
have
things
an,
into
there is
gelatin.
the rainbow jello recipe in here.
Yeah, they got savory gelatins back
There's
then,
like
back in the
hot dog
50s.
recipe, like things to do with hot dogs. But you're reminding me of and they had a lot of like canned food and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some really, really interesting, like this one is this is from the 1930s, and it's like it's almost like a shepherd's pie, but with like tater tots on top.
That sounds very Midwestern. Like
There's
shepherd's
like,
pie is pretty British, but the tater tots on top and casserole, Midwestern.
yeah. There is a stuffed hot dog rest. This is one that I was really interested in. It has one of them is stuffed with peanut butter.
Oh.
It's just like, I'm like, look at this. Ew, this is hot dogs. So gross.
Uh,
There's a pimento grilled cheese in here.
ooh. You know, I've been
Oh, here it is.
having, oh,
Pimento cheese sandwich.
I've been
It looks
having
really
grilled
delicious.
cheese sandwich on multigrain with bread and butter pickles.
Mm,
Uh fr and not as good as the old lady Nancy's pickles, but
of course.
I can't eat the pickles by themselves the way that I can Nancy's, but they work okay on a grilled cheese sandwich, which I never would have put pickles on a grilled cheese sandwich. But my mother actually gave me
Oh,
the
we
idea.
do. Laura makes the best one. A grilled
Really?
pickle sandwich. Yeah, she turned me onto it. I had never done it.
I think the difference is it's not dill, it's bread and butter, so it's sweeter. And so
Mm.
even so it's different from like a dill pickle on a burger, which I have an experience with. I take them off my burger because I don't like biting and having them slap out and like
Yeah.
got me on the chin. So, but for some reason, these particular pickles on this particular sandwich don't do that. I guess because the cheese wraps itself around it and makes it more sturdy. But I also, fun fact, I have to tell my mother this still. She'll get a kick out of it. I keep burning like the grilled cheese sandwich. I'm not the best cook out there. I am trying through it, but every time I make grilled cheese, I burn it to some degree, even when I think I'm like, man, I'm doing so good.
Is
And
the heat too high?
I've tried lowering it, but I burn it before the cheese gets all the way melted. But it's fine because I can scrape off the burn. It still tastes fine. It's not like I waste the
Did you
food,
put a lid
but
on it?
I think I've tried that at once. I've tried
You got to
different
put a lid
stuff.
on because the lid helps the cheese melt. That way you can
Oh,
keep it on less.
I
I just
think
made some, yeah, I just made some this morning. I made it with egg in the middle,
oh,
like
yeah.
egg, cheese, and I did put a little dill relish on one of the sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I also put prosciutto on it. Putting meat in it is a little fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I had probably had it on medium to medium high,
Mm.
and I did one side for like 2 minutes, and then I flipped it before it was brown. That was the cheese side, and then so I flipped it, and then I put the lid on. We like take another lid and put it over it so that it
Mm-hmm.
like houses it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever, and then once that side gets brown, I flip it back over so that the other side can brown, and then everything is melty, and then it's also melty, and to like let it rest for 2 minutes.
Hmm. I'll have to, I think I have tried a lid at one point, but I might try it.
You can do the heat at, yeah, do the heat at like between medium and medium high.
Yeah,
That
I've
way the bread can
tried.
get really toasty,
Yeah,
not
I'm gonna
burnt.
give that one a shot. I feel like I've done one or the other, but maybe I'll try doing them at the same time. But the other last night we were cooking, we were actually making a spaghetti sauce with the stewed tomatoes that we got from Nancy. And and we actually got like a piece of garlic paper on the burner underneath the thing, and I smelled it burning, and I'm like, man, why does it smell like grilled cheese? And then I realized it doesn't smell like grilled cheese, it smells like burn, and I'm smelling my own grilled cheese burning.
That's really funny.
And I
You
was like,
associate the smell of burning with your grilled cheese now.
so it would seem, yeah. And I gotta tell my mother that she'll get a kick out
That's
of it
funny.
because she's like, I don't want you to not try cooking anymore because you always burn your grilled cheese. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll just eat the burned grilled cheese. It's fine.
Right.
So now that's just part of the flavor of grilled cheese for me, I
And maybe
guess.
try setting a timer.
Mm.
Do you have a microwave timer or something?
Hmm. Yeah, I
So
do.
just do like I don't know, try like 4 minutes aside or 3 minutes, you know.
Yeah, just see
That
what
way you can
works.
put it in your little robot brain, and then you can just put a timer on it since it's not your strength somehow. Also, speaking of Jello, sunset salad. Look at that thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Uh,
1960s.
60s. Okay.
Beet salad.
Hmm. We have
Ew.
beets.
Look at this thing. It looks delicious, actually. Beets, I think, to me are just disgusting, except for pickled beets.
I think these are kind of pickled beets, not really like super duper pickled, but just enough to like stay fresh in the jar. They're Nancy's beets. Um, well, we have so much food that's from Nancy that we're finally getting to the
Getting
bottom of
to
the jars.
it?
No, we're just now finishing them
Oh,
because
not finishing it.
yeah, and I tried making my own pickled carrots to go on a sandwich and not good. I got to go back to the drawing board on that and figure out what I did wrong there, but
Yeah.
I've still been eating them. I made corned beef fritters, or I tried to make corned beef fritters and with an actually like a 40s recipe, funnily enough,
Hmm.
and it tastes good, but I could not get them to keep their shape. And so I got
Mm.
like four of them that were kind of patty shaped, and the rest of it I just gave up. And my
Do
partner's
they need a
like,
little more flour?
I mean, maybe, but I don't
Was
know.
it too runny? Or maybe
No, it
are
wasn't
you frying
runny.
them in like
Yeah,
oil?
yeah. Well, I was
Like
frying them
shallow?
in butter,
Oh,
um,
okay.
based on the recipe,
Maybe it's not
but
hot enough.
possible.
If
Either
you
way, we're keeping all the food, but it's basically instead of fritters, because four of them are fritters, sort of. But the rest of it is like my partner called it mush, but
Mhm.
like it's tasty mush.
I
It
still eat it
tastes
when I fuck it
good.
up too. I
Yeah.
love
So
fucking anything
like
up.
I found that as mush, I can make it still into a sandwich with the multigrain bread. And I heat it up. And when it's the fritters, I can eat it cold. But when it's the mush, I gotta heat it up. And so it's kind of like chicken salad or tuna salad or whatever, where it's mushy, but you can spread it on
Mhm.
the bread, and then I'll put my pickled carrots on it, which also aren't very good. But combined with the mush, it tastes okay. And so same thing with the pickles. I can't eat those pickles by themselves because they're not as good as Nancy's. But when I combine it with the grilled cheese, which I combine the cheap processed white American cheese with a couple slices of fancy smoky cheddar cheese.
Mhm.
And then it's like it all mixes together and it's like it's good. It's good.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing lots of cooking lately. And
I
my
see
partner's like,
that.
man, this is so crazy. This is weird. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you guys, who even are you?
I know. And it's like, it's nice. And I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
But
Good for
anyway,
you,
so
man.
yeah.
Welcome to your
So
30s.
I know, dude, it's super
All
weird.
growed uppy.
All grown up, still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's our time, I
I don't
guess.
think I started like cooking, like being creative with food
Mhm.
until 30,
Oh,
after 30 maybe.
that's good to
I could
know.
cook before, but I just was basic. I just
Yeah.
cooked basic. I was busy. I did not have time for creativity like that.
Hmm.
But then when I did, yeah. Also, I had a boss who told me a lot about cooking.
Mm.
So that triggered me into remembering like how my grandma cooks and stuff like that. And then I would get excited and she would be like, oh, just do this thing. Because I'd be like, oh, I tried this, but this happened. She'd be like, you just do this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had a coaches.
That's awesome, dude. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking the other day when with all the jarred food from Nancy, I'm like, I wish I had a living grandparent or like even an adopted grandparent that could just go over their house and they show me all this stuff,
Yeah.
like how to do all this stuff. But
You could find an adoptive grandparent. Absolutely.
yeah, probably. I had an adopted grandpa that my mother, she after my grandmother passed, she found herself working in like elderly care, like independent, like you go to someone's house and you care for them every day. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the people she went and cared for, his last name was Boyd, funnily enough, which is my spouse's last name. But I called him Grandpa Boyd, and it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because now that I'm married, I have a Grandpa Boyd. But
So fascinating.
he even and of course my nurse too on my birth certificate was Nicole Boyd, which is also fun.
I just
But
met a woman named Alicia Boyd, who is a representative from my neighborhood, who is helping us like deal with neighborhood stuff.
that is so cool. I mean, my
Yeah.
last name's not Boyd, but still, it's
Yeah.
fun.
It's
But
fun.
anyway, so Grandpa Boyd was really into gardening. And I remember at one point he took me to Walmart and we bought some Miracle Grow and gardening gloves. And I kind of helped him with gardening. There wasn't any leaves yet. So it was just like the beginning parts where you plant the seeds and stuff. And it was forever ago, so I don't remember anything, but he kind of showed me some things. And it was just interesting to me because now I married another Boyd that is really into gardening right now.
Mhm.
And it's just so crazy how the world works, man. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I
Miracles.
miss Grandpa Boyd.
Oh,
Anyway,
maybe
um, yeah, maybe we'll find another grandpa. Another grandma would be even better.
maybe they're in
Because
walking distance and you didn't even know it.
yeah, maybe. We did just get some neighbors. I don't know who they are, but I still haven't gone over there
Maybe you
because
can
I don't
make
want
this some
to
fritters and bring them over.
gotta
Make them a grilled peanut butter jelly.
we have a
You ever
lot
done that?
of we have a lot of corned beef mush to eat through. And I don't know if I want to give them mush. It's kind of like hash, but if it weren't a good texture, because at least hash has like some crispiness to it or some
Yeah.
cubes and everything. It's not that. It's just mush. It's tasty, but I think it's one of those things where I would eat it. I don't think I would give it to someone else.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, but anyway. So yeah, I guess go find old people and adopt them
Yep.
and
Do
learn
it.
from them.
Absolutely.
Well, this was a long one, but I feel like we needed it because we've both been
Yeah.
kind of struggling in different ways and
Mhm.
we're doing a fresh start. So
Yeah, that's for sure. Feels pretty good.
yeah, I feel good about this week. So let's come back on next Sunday morning at 9 Eastern or 9 Central, 10 Eastern in the morning. And you and I will meet 15 minutes before um, and go live by 9:10.
Okay. Sounds
Alrighty.
good.
I can't wait to hear how your challenges go.
We shall see. I'll let you
We'll
know.
see. All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.